Tokyo Revengers, Promised Neverland, Ben Simmons. We've seen a lot of crazy fall-offs recently. And now we have Uzumaki, which everyone that's been watching is saying how the fall off between episode 1 and 2 is absolutely insane. So I had to watch it to see for myself if it really was that bad. Starting off with just a quick recap of my thoughts of episode 1, I initially thought that the art style and sound effects were really good, the art was super unique, and the episode kept me on the edge of my seat. Seeing the father's facial expressions that literally made my stomach churn could just be because I was hungry. And then there's also the scene of when you see the dad's body all spiraled up. And I remember seeing that and I literally asked myself, what the am I looking at? I had to double take and put my glasses on just to make sure that I was seeing what I thought I saw. Now, I haven't read the manga myself, but from what I was seeing, people are saying that the art style did stay pretty true to the manga, at least in episode 1. We'll talk about episode 2 in just a second. But overall, the atmosphere of episode 1 felt incredible. It felt like I was actually in a movie theater watching a real horror movie. It kept me engaged, on the edge of my seat, paying attention. I really liked it. And seeing her cut off her own fingertips because they had spirals on the fingerprints actually kind of hurt to see. But anyways, that's enough about episode 1. Let's get into episode 2, where people said that it fell off. Crazy. But yeah, this is where everyone said it gets so bad. So I had to, again, watch it myself to see if it really was that bad. And it starts off pretty normal. But that's the issue, is that it starts off pretty normal. I saw people saying that the pacing actually was bad, which I kind of understand why you would say that. It didn't have me as engaged or antsy as episode 1 did. And the animation did feel pretty weak at times compared to episode 1, especially after that little scuffle they had. And yes, of course, there's that infamous scene that's going around on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube shorts of them walking and the animation being really bad. Right after that, though, it goes right back to being eerie, dark, and detailed. And this episode, again, made me say, what the am I looking at? When they slithered back into the ocean after being twined together. And last but not least, that spiral staircase scene at the end did feel really detailed. It definitely has room for improvement, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's some unwatchable disaster that everyone is talking about. So let's get into why this might have fallen off so bad. And honestly, it's a little hard to say because the producers are being pretty vague, or it could just be the Ito curse. No, but seriously, the producer himself even said on Twitter, which he deleted, "It's fine, we knew this would happen. I can't talk about what went down, but we were screwed over and the options were A, not finish and air nothing and call it a loss. B, just finish and air episode 1 and leave it incomplete. Or C, run all 4, warts and all. Out of respect for the hard work, we chose C." After waiting so long, it makes sense people would be mad. Unfortunately, I can't tell them who to blame it on, but someone is definitely at fault here, and we all just had to do our best when things imploded. Maybe others would have made different choices. We did the best we could with what we had. Now, this is definitely pretty vague. It's pretty obvious he doesn't want to point fingers at, an exact person, but luckily we do have someone that actually works in the industry that is speaking on this situation. We have the animator of One Piece, Boruto, and Tokyo Ghoul, Henry Thurlow, who actually speaks on this. Obviously, he didn't work on this project, but I'm sure he knows more about the process than probably any of us watching this. And he suspects that the fault lies with Western producers who did not want to wait for a polished product and in the middle of work changed the studio that was supposed to complete the series faster. Honestly, that sounds pretty accurate. That sounds pretty Western to me. We also have to remember that this project got announced in 2019, 5 years ago, which in case you forgot, right before a huge global pandemic happened. And so when that pandemic did happen, it put things on a huge pause. DeMarco even said himself, the pandemic completely stopped production on the show for close to a year. It was the single biggest impact. Our crew was small, so having even a few members and their families getting deathly ill was a huge blow to both the production and our morale. It was very challenging to bring the show back from the dead. So where am I going with all this? I feel like if we put these 3 clues together, it's pretty obvious what happened. The project was announced years ago and the team was extremely small. The resources seemed limited, and they could have dropped it completely and just marked it as a loss, or just push out what's out there with all the warts. And again, obviously I don't know exactly what happened, but if I had to guess, they just fell victim to greed. It sounds like they're being pressured to just put something out, whether or not they felt like it was ready. And this is clearly something where they did not care about the quality of it. At least the producer. I'm sure the animators want to do their best and put out their best work, but deadlines have to be met, and obviously the animators do not choose those deadlines. There's also the last possibility, according to this Screen Rant article, that the quality actually dropped intentionally, and they used the film grain effect to actually make it feel more eerie and spooky. Right. Anyways, we have episode 3 dropping very soon. It's dropping, I actually believe, tomorrow at like 12:30 a.m., at least at the time of this recording. So comment down below if you think that episode 3 is going to be a similar animation situation as episode 2, or do you think they're going to pick the quality back up like they did in episode 1 and make it good again? And as always, a lot of you guys are not subscribed but are watching, so be sure to subscribe and I will keep you safe from the Ito curse. I'll see you guys later.